Prince Sports here. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. I want to talk about 2013 Miami Heat versus the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the Spurs was on the verge of winning the championship until something crazy happened. Ray Allen hit arguably one of the greatest clutch shots in playoff history. It's a shot that people talk about constantly, and you got to be living under a rock not to know what happened. Basically, the Miami Heat were down by 15 points. LeBron James loses his headband. He scores 12 points out of the fourth quarter. And Ray Allen gets the ball for his one and only shot during the fourth quarter. And he hits a clutch three-point shot to save the day, basically. Now, without that shot, a lot of things would have been different for a lot of people. So let's get into some reasons or things that would have happened if that took place. So one reason is Tim Duncan becomes a top 5 all-time greatest basketball player of all time. All right? He'd be put in the same class with Kareem, and he would also have 6 championships along with Jordan and Kareem. But the only difference is he wouldn't been the first option on all these championship teams, so that would have been held against him. Only guy that has that is Mike. He was the number 1 option for all 6 of those titles. Kareem was a sidekick. He had Magic Johnson steal 3 of those MVPs from him. And Tim Duncan didn't win Finals MVP every time the Spurs won a championship. He's a 3-time Finals MVP. So, and there's a good chance that he wouldn't have won the Finals MVP for 2013 either. Believe it or not, some people was actually campaigning Danny Green to win that Finals MVP if the Spurs had won. Okay? So that's one thing that would have happened. Now just imagine Tim Duncan, his whole career would have been changed, man. He would have been undeniable top 5 best player in the world of all time. Not just in the world, but of all time. So that puts him in the same level, I believe, with Kareem. So if you have Kareem in your top 5, most people do, then you will have to put Tim Duncan in there. Some people already got Tim Duncan in their top 5, but the only difference is it's more debatable now. But if he won that 6th chip, he would have been a top 5 all-time great, period. Now, see what winning does for you? It always enhances your legacy. It always pushes you up more and more further, okay? So another reason what happened, which is the obvious. LeBron's legacy would have been really damaged. He would have been 2-7 in the NBA Finals. He would have been knocking on the door of Jerry West. As much as he did in the fourth quarter to help his team come back, he still didn't hit that big shot. I often tell people that, hey, Ray Allen's three-pointer means nothing if somebody else doesn't step up in the fourth quarter and put them in position to get that three-pointer to tie the game. But nevertheless, LeBron wasn't the guy that hit that 3. And that's a knock on LeBron's career. In a lot of big moments, somebody else seems to be hitting the big shot for some reason. I mean, in the finals, it was Kyrie Irving. And in the 2013 finals, it was Ray Allen. And usually people, they want to see their main superstar, the number 1 option. They want to see that guy excel in those type of moments. It's like, imagine if Scottie Pippen hit the game-winning shot on Brian Russell instead of Michael Jordan. People would have been looking at that a little different, So he likes in those type of moments a little bit. So another thing that would have happened, Wade will only finish his career with 2 championships. Okay, so Dwayne Wade's legacy would have took a hit too, because he would have been taking L's with LeBron in the finals when they came to Heatles and it became this big super team that was supposed to win not 1, not 2, not 3, but a couple, right? And they would have only finished with 1 championship out of their 4-year run. If that was the case, I would say, LeBron, you got to stay on the Miami Heat and correct your wrongs. And that brings us to the next topic. The Miami Heat Big 3 would have been tarnished. Okay, that would have been one of the worst super teams ever made, because they would have went 1-3 in the finals. And you could argue a case that they underachieved because they only won 2 titles out of the 4 years. People were at least expecting them to do a three-peat. All right. Another one is Greg Pop would have been right up there with, some of the other coaches with championships. He would have had 6 rings. Okay, he'd been knocking on the door with Phil Jackson a little bit. You could argue that you were knocking on the door with Phil. Another reason is Kawhi Leonard would have had another championship on his resume before he even hits his prime. That would have been crazy. He would have had 2 championships on the San Antonio Spurs, 1 championship with the Raptors, and a possible championship with the Los Angeles Clippers. Would have been leaving him at 4. And he has a chance this year to make history. Do not let Kawhi Leonard win more championships if you're LeBron James. That's one guy you cannot let continue to eat. If that guy eats under your watch, it's going to be serious repercussions for you. All right? Now, those are the reasons I believe things that would have changed if Ray Allen didn't hit that big shot felt all around the world that changed the NBA playoffs as we know it. They went to Game 7. LeBron closed out the Game 7. You got to give him credit for that. But there would be no Game 7 if that Ray Allen shot did not go down. They would have been going home because that 12 points LeBron scored is good, but you needed 15 or more. So it would have been in the losing effort if he didn't get that. Anyway, peace. Keep it 3,000. I'm out.